All right, next up, we have Horizon Online, Sony's new AAA MMO by Force Gaming. Let's see what this is all about.
Hey everyone, so today's story is pretty interesting. We actually have news that Horizon, the fairly young Sony franchise about hunting dino robots, is going to be stepping into the online multiplayer world. In fact, according to the recent leaks,
I am so down for this. This absolutely sounds awesome. Like robot dinosaur hunting, freaking bow, sword, like gameplay fighting style in an MMO. That sounds pretty sick.
they are actually making an MMORPG. Sony has
Let's
partnered
go
with NCSoft, who is having one of their internal development studios work on the game. This being just one of the many projects Sony has underway, morphing their existing single-player franchises into multiplayer games and working towards a stated goal of delivering more live service titles. I think actually they want to have somewhere around 10 to 12 live service games in the next few years come out, which is kind of nuts. And you know what though?
Sony getting serious. That's pretty exciting. Seriously, that's awesome. Because I think those live service titles bring in a lot of money. Like we're talking, you know, Apex Legends, Overwatch, friggin', why can I not think of any others? Oh, Warzone, like all of those, man. This is a great idea.
A Horizon MMO sounds pretty cool. In fact, I think it sounds really promising for a lot of reasons, not least of which being that the games already kind of feel like single-player versions of MMOs in a few ways. Now, NCSoft's involvement...
I actually really agree with that. Yes. It makes so much sense. Because you run around, you talk to the NPCs, you grab quests, you go out, you kill, like, loot, right? Taking down increasingly difficult monsters, leveling up, you know, advancing your skills, whatever. It's ready. It's already ready. And I'm sure that's why they're converting it, right? Because it just makes so much sense. This game is already primed to be an MMO. It's such a logical transition. It's amazing. I'm excited.
May leave some a bit uneasy. It certainly does for me, but I think there is a scenario in which this game could come out and not be a microtransaction laden mess. If nothing else, I think Sony's involvement makes those odds a little bit better. At least I would hope so. But let's jump into the story. So this news first broke last week after an article posted by Korean publication MTN announced their exclusive coverage of this Sony NCSoft collaboration. The article opened by saying NCSoft is developing a new game utilizing the IP of Sony's flagship franchise Horizon. This collaboration aimed at targeting the global market, allowing NCSoft to branch out from their existing Lineage IP. And of course there they are referring to the Lineage MMO franchise. It is incredibly successful in the East. In fact, Lineage...
I never played Lineage, but I always hear great things about it. I always hear it was awesome. And so to hear that Sony is branching out from an already existing like awesome MMO and gonna make, you know, gonna have a company or, you know, publish for a company that's gonna work on another one, that's promising. I'm excited.
Lineage 1 and 2 remain in the top most played MMOs in that entire market still to this day, even though they are starting to get pretty long in years. Now, outside of that, though, NCSoft also has some very successful Western releases. In fact, they've got an entire...
That video is chugging. I'm sorry, guys.
Entire Western branch of the company. Heading over to their website, you will see some well-known games, including Aeon, Lineage 2, and yes, that is right, Guild Wars 1 and 2. And we will circle back to that NCSoft ArenaNet connection later on in the video.
That's
crazy. I imagine this article just focused on the Lineage franchise being what NC is known for, mainly because it's a Korean publication, so they are serving a different market. They have a different audience. But yeah, we know NCSoft here in the West very well as well, not only for Lineage, but yes, of course, for Aeon and Guild Wars. Yeah, for Guild Wars.
Guild Wars is huge. Yeah, that's a big one. And if you have this kind of resume, if you will, if you have this kind of resume, you can feel pretty confident that this is going to go well. I mean, Guild Wars 2. Other than Final Fantasy 14 and World of Warcraft, Guild Wars 2 is probably one of the best known MMOs right now, right? And so, like, dang. They're coming at it with a huge resume. Like, hey, guys, we got this. And it makes me feel confident.
It's crazy. So on the 8th of November, a source familiar with both Sony and NC said that the companies have agreed to a partnership to create a new game using Sony's promising IP, and that one of NCSoft's internal development teams will be making it. It then continued by stating negotiations have concluded, development on the game has already begun, and yeah, it's going to be an open world MMO set.
We're getting to work, boys! We've got the game you've been looking for. We've finished our negotiations. We've got a sick contract with multiple zeros on it. And we're feeling inspired. We're bringing you an IP that you've enjoyed in a single-player experience, and we're just expanding on it and turning it into the best MMO you've ever seen. Or at least that's how I hope they're approaching it. Sounds good.
In the Horizon universe. Now, at the moment, NC is actively recruiting for the project. Job listings are posted on their website under the heading Project H Developer Recruitment and the...
Hey, NC. Hey, NC. Hey. Throw me a line. Cast a line my way, huh? Yeah. Give me a little taste of the MMO development side. I'd love to be a part of it. Come on. Hit me up.
H, of course, we assume stands for Horizon, but development is in very early days. Under NC structure, they call this current stage the seed stage, and then as things progress and more of a game is formed, it will then move into the camp stage, at which point the team size will grow, it gets more fleshed out, and the game enters full-on production. Now, while no official announcement of a Horizon MMO has been made from Sony, it seems all but confirmed. Beyond the leaks, NCSoft's Global Communications Office put out the following statement. It is difficult to confirm information about unpublished projects that are currently under development. And to me, that reads like, yes, we're making it, but we can't really officially say it. But then beyond that, there is the fact that ever since the very first game, Horizon was meant to have multiplayer. The developer Guerrilla Games originally planned for Zero Dawn to have co-op, but ended up scrapping the idea during production. And then during development of the recent game, Forbidden West, they revisited the idea, but reportedly changed course, deciding instead to save it.
This must be gameplay footage from Forbidden West, and it looks pretty sick. It actually looks really good. And I really liked Horizon Zero Dawn. I did. I enjoyed that game a lot. So, I mean, if they made an MMO out of this, I really think it would be fun. I think it would be sick. As long as they didn't add in a bunch of microtransactions, as long as they didn't make it pay to win, I think it would be really, really good. Could be. I guess I should put more qualifying words in there. It could be really, really good.
For a future standalone online game, which according to some Guerrilla job postings, they started hiring for back in 2021. One position they were looking to fill was for a social systems designer whose duties included engaging players in social interactions to create lasting relationships and, where compatible, create a guild-like group to explore with together. They were also looking for a games writer with extensive knowledge of stories and narrative design in open world RPGs, online games, and MMOs to create mission, quest writing, and narrative design. And then about a month ago, new leaks came out, further corroborating that Guerrilla has a multiplayer Horizon.
Wait, for some reason, the huge font is throwing me off. I gotta read this. Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster for PS5, Horizon Online multiplayer game for PS5 and PC in development. There you go. Keyword there, multiplayer game. It's confirmed. Horizon MMO.
game in development. So I really feel like at this point the question is, with the news of Sony now partnering with NCSoft on a Horizon MMO and the fact that Guerrilla is making a multiplayer game, are these the same game? Like, are they working on the same title in collaboration? Did Guerrilla begin production on this and then NCSoft will be assisting with it? Or is Guerrilla developing some co-op multiplayer online Horizon game while simultaneously NCSoft is working on their own MMO version? It might
interesting.
Seem strange, the idea of having like two different Horizon multiplayer games in development at the same time, but I do think it's
that does seem strange. I mean, yeah, it could be possible, but it seems strange. It seems more likely that they're collaborating, because they're probably helping with the story, helping with, I don't know, models and everything, actually, because they were the ones to develop the original, right? So they could be kind of handing off or developing on this, alongside like models and like systems and whatever, sound design, all of it, to make sure that all of that is accurate for the MMO or something. I don't know, but it seems more likely that they're helping than creating another game on the side. But I could be wrong. It could be both, and we're getting a lot of Horizon content on the future. On the horizon, oh boy.
Entirely possible, especially if Guerrilla has been working on something since about 2020 and NCSoft just began development of theirs. Here's one like possible scenario. We have this idea that Guerrilla is making an online co-op, maybe even a shared world game, but NCSoft separately is making a full-on open world MMO. Now, given
it is possible. I see this being possible. I want to know what you guys think, though. What do you think? Do you think they're creating two separate games? A Horizon MMO and then another Horizon single-player experience? Or are we getting a sick collaboration so we can feel assured that it's going to be a good MMO because the original developer is helping with the MMO? What do you think?
MMO development on average takes at least 5 or so years from start to finish, and development has reportedly just begun recently. It's presumable that this MMO might not be ready until like 2027, whereas an online multiplayer game, if Guerrilla started it a couple years ago, we could imagine that could be done in a year or so. So with that, there would be, I think, a wide enough gap if Guerrilla came out with whatever they're doing like next year or something, and then in 2027, hey, now there's a Horizon MMO. That's a pretty wide different separation between these two. I think it's important to consider, though, another entirely possible circumstance is that Guerrilla is just making Horizon 3, and it'll have some co-op or multiplayer features in it. I mean,
definitely
it could be somewhat shared world in the vein of Destiny, for example. And then, NCSoft is doing like their full-on open world MMO thing, which the company is known for. It won't have a main protagonist. We will just play as characters in the Horizon universe, and we'll form tribes, which will act as guilds or maybe races or factions or whatever. Focusing back,
I like the idea of tribes. Let's stop calling it guilds and factions and companies and whatever. Let's go with tribes. I like that, and it fits in the Horizon world.
Back on the NCSoft MMO, I think there's one really kind of potentially exciting thing that is just worth talking about, and that is who would be making it under NCSoft. As they specifically stated in that release, the game's being developed by an internal NC development team. Now, there are a number of studios who would fit that bill, and one intriguing option, believe it or not, is actually ArenaNet. Yeah, the studio who brought you Guild Wars 1 and 2. Well, back in 2002, they were acquired by NCSoft, and it's my understanding that they would be considered an NCSoft development team. Now, we've known for some time that ArenaNet has been working on projects that are not Guild Wars related. Initially, this is actually rumored to be a Dune MMO. Over the years, a lot of evidence came out that they had such a game in development. However, that was...
Oh, man. I would have loved to have a Dune MMO. Seriously, that would be sick. Oh, I love the world of Dune. Dune is actually Dune is my favorite book. Dune is my favorite sci-fi book. It's my favorite science fiction book, seriously. I like other fantasy books more, but for science fiction, Dune is my favorite. Easily my favorite.
reportedly canceled and seems to have changed hands, supposedly passing over to Funcom, who officially revealed Dune Awakening earlier this year, if you recall. But the Dune stuff aside, like, what's ArenaNet?
Wait. Oh, yeah. There is a Dune game in development. I don't know if it's an MMO or not. I can't remember, but yes, that's awesome. We need more Dune content out there. Good Dune content.
Been up to since then? Well, according to some job listings of their own posted this past July, they are currently working on an Unreal Engine 5 powered online fantasy RPG. So that falls within the realm of possibility that ArenaNet could be the ones in charge of developing this Horizon MMO or not.
That's exciting.
Another possibility is it's just one of NCSoft's many other internal studios.
So the Guild Wars 2 developers could be making a Horizon MMO. That definitely seems promising.
There's a lot of possibilities of who's working on what. Are there multiple Horizon online games / MMOs in development? There's a lot of potential realities. The thing that we know for sure, though, is that Guerrilla Games has been hiring for an online multiplayer project. NCSoft and one of their internal studios, which could possibly be ArenaNet, is working on their own MMO that they just began. Whatever the case of those possible combinations, all of this kind of lines up with Sony and their push into the live service games as a service market. This is no secret. The company has stated, in fact, that they plan to have 12 live service games in the market by March of 2020.
12 live service games. That's a lot. That is a lot. They're really pushing for it.
Even though the company has primarily up to this point been known for single-player narrative titles like God of War, Last of Us, and yes, Horizon, they still intend to continue making those experiences, but they also want to start serving the ever-growing always online multiplayer market, largely in part, I assume.
It's smart. They're making a smart move here. I really think so. Yeah. And they probably, I mean, I'm not saying that they would have gone irrelevant, right? Because their single-player experiences are really popular and, really well done, usually, right? But, in order to stay relevant, in order to kind of push forward into the future of gaming, these online experiences are huge, and so many people play them. It just makes sense. So I think that's good that Sony's pushing for that relevance.
To all of the extra money that those games bring in over regular single-player games. You know, they have not as of yet stuffed their regular narrative titles with microtransactions to the aggressive nature that you see in live service games as a service titles. And it looks like they want to start dipping into that market. Sony can maybe use some more money, especially with the competing with Microsoft buying up everything, right? One of their biggest recent steps in this direction was, of course, the acquisition of Bungie, who they explicitly said were brought on to assist with their push in live service games. They
brought on Bungie? Really? I did not know about this. This is news to me. That's pretty big.
Concerned with messing with the Destiny franchise or changing things up with Destiny 2, as they just wanted Bungie's help in developing and supporting a live service game, which they have quite a bit of experience with, of course. And we've also got recent official confirmation that there's a Last of Us multiplayer game in the works. The expectation here is that this will be an open world experience, probably along the lines of Division, but maybe just a bit more dense and expansive. We'll have players who explore some massive city. It is rumored on that concept art to be possibly San Francisco, while fighting back infected and then dealing with other enemy players, like an open world PvPvE experience. And I think it's likely that they continue in this direction of releasing multiplayer spin-offs of their successful IPs, because why create a whole bunch of new IPs and try to make popular multiplayer games when you've got a treasure trove of titles? God of War, Uncharted, Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima.
They've got so many IPs that they can work with, and they could make into live service games. It's pretty awesome. Having that content at your fingertips to work with, it's a good position for them.
And Horizon, these are all beloved franchises that you could totally make a multiplayer game out of each and every one.
Well, that's really exciting. I really hope the Horizon Online MMO is good. I hope it's good. I hope it's not pay to win. I hope it's not filled to the brim with microtransactions. If it's just aesthetic changes, if it's just like costumes or skins or whatever you want to say, then I'm okay with it, right? I mean, it doesn't bother me, that kind of stuff. It makes sense. You got to make money on a game. Maybe they even make it subscription based, right? So you have to pay a monthly, service fee. Other really well done MMOs do that, right? So that would make sense as well. I think people in general prefer a free to play MMO, but I think paid MMO, like paid subscription, makes more sense if you do it really, really well. Like, if it's a beautiful game, if the systems are fun, it just makes sense that you should pay for the game, right? Because it's just good.